As we near the end of 2022, many borrowers, sellers, first time home buyers are all wondering, where is the housing market going? Well, typically home buying conditions do improve in fall and winter. However, this year's inflation and recession could make the landscape harder to anticipate. So if you're wondering about the market for the end of 2022 and 2023 here in Oak Island, Southport, or all of southeastern North Carolina, or even across the country, you'll want to join me. So if you're ready, let's go. If we haven't met yet, I'm Sue Singleton, Realtor with Coldwell Banker, Seacoast Advantage here in beautiful southeastern North Carolina. Now, I find that lots of folks are scared by the real estate market today because they associate every recession with 2008. Now, listen, not all recessions are created equal. That's right. Not all recessions are created equal. That one was actually a bit of an outlier. Now, I've talked about that in prior videos, so I hope you'll go back and check those out. Those rock bottom mortgage rates that were in 2020 and 2021, well, they created a real estate frenzy that no one could have predicted. We've seen mortgage rates rising and falling and then rising some more. So, what actually happens as the interest rate rises? Well, affordability falls. It reduces the number of active buyers. Now, I know that lots of buyers and sellers don't like to hear this, but listen, higher rates help bring more balance to the marketplace. I'm going to say that again. Higher rates help bring more balance to the marketplace. Now, there has been a softening in demand, which has slowed the rate of home price growth here in southeastern North Carolina and actually all across the United States, which has given buyers some bargaining power. It's still not a buyer's market. It's really not a seller's market. It's what we call more of a neutral market, bringing the market back into a neutral place, which is actually good for buyers and sellers. Please keep in mind that the experts are saying that the housing market will not crash and burn like in 2008. Now, none of us have a crystal ball, but the main reason is that the current housing market is not driven by lax lending rules, subprime mortgages, or overly leveraged homeowners like in 2008. Home price appreciation in the current housing market is backed by fundamentals and is defined by a relative deficiency of supply relative to demand. Now, this demand that we're currently experiencing has been fueled mostly by millennials entering their prime house buying years compared to the fix and flip investors that we saw in prior years. So another question I get is this a trend that is expected to continue? Well, it does appear that most markets will experience a seasonal slowdown for the last part of 2022. Now, seasonality plays an important role in the market since it does have an impact on housing demand and supply. But all in all, the market should still stay very competitive due to tight inventory. This is very typical and normal for the last quarter of the year. And as I said earlier in the video, the market has become a more neutral market compared to the pre-COVID 2019 market. So I do want to talk a little bit about our local market. And a couple of things that I'm seeing here in southeastern North Carolina is that a higher percentage of buyers are looking at lower priced homes due to the higher interest rates. Now, also, I have heard directly from some of my local home builder friends that new home sales have slowed somewhat and that new construction projections are decreasing due to the availability of current homes. Now, really, this is actually a good neutralizing thing for the market as well. Just because the home builders are slowing somewhat doesn't mean that the market is going to crash like in 2008. Now, locally, as far as home prices go, I foresee those flattening or even going up slightly. There have been price reduction on properties, and I've been getting a ton of questions from potential buyers regarding pricing negotiations. One of the typical questions I get is, do I anticipate that the prices are going to drop by 20 to 30% or lower? Well, for here in our local market in southeastern North Carolina, There have been price reductions. However, I personally have not seen prices drop that much. There are properties that may have been slightly overpriced going in that have had to adjust and catch up with the current market trends. But I'm not seeing those steep reductions up to 30% or 20%. But keep in mind that in a neutral market, even a market that may be slightly favorable to a buyer than seller, it does allow room for negotiations. Current market values and market trends always help set the stage for that negotiated price. My suggestion is do your research, but also seek the advice of your real estate professional for your area. Your real estate professional is always keeping their eyes on the market and can guide you to the right price point. The one thing you don't want to do in a neutral market is to think that the market trend is 30% lower than what the list price is, and you want to go in with a much low ball offer that's going to actually put the seller into the point of view that, well, this buyer is not a serious buyer. So anyway, make sure you talk to your real estate professional. That is the person you can look to guide you to the right price point for negotiating. So listen, we all know that the news often hypes things up just to get our attention. So ignore the headlines and look at the data. For example, you might see a news headline that says housing market conditions will worsen in 2023. But then you do a little research and you find out, well, what they really mean is that home prices will grow at a slower rate. The word worsen makes it sound scary, but the truth is slower growth isn't a sign of crashing. So the good news for home buyers is that the market isn't as hot as it was even 6 months ago. And if you're looking to buy, you'll have a few more options and hey, maybe even less competition. It might still take longer to save a down payment or find your dream home, but the frenzy is definitely slowing down. If you're thinking about purchasing a property here in southeastern North Carolina, the following winter is a great time to come stay 2 or 3 days and check out our many communities and towns and the amenities that each has to offer. Southeastern North Carolina has something to suit even the toughest home buyer, I promise. Come visit and stop by and say hello. I'd love to meet you and talk to you about beautiful southeastern North Carolina and how I can help you make southeastern North Carolina home. No matter where you are in your real estate search, let's connect to talk about your goals and options in the current market and find out if Oak Island, Southport, or one of the other beautiful locations here in southeastern North Carolina is right for you. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to my channel to stay updated on all things happening in the real estate market here in southeastern North Carolina. Make sure you like and share this video and leave me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And remember, happiness grows here. I'll talk to you next time.